Okay, today's video we're talking about seasonality adjustments on Google Ads and how and why they're mostly just stupid to begin with, or a stupid idea to improve the performance of your ad account and get more profit from your ad account over, let's say, a yearly time span or monthly time span. So the idea of adjusting what you're doing on a seasonal type basis, every year most businesses have points in time where the traffic from Google Ads converts better and converts less as well. I'm not talking about not making adjustments for that, because certainly you should by all means do that. And I've talked about that in other videos before. What I am talking about is stupid is using the seasonality adjustments tool to deal with it specifically, and where there might be some small situations where it could actually help you. Most people, the way that they think, most people that are using it basically aren't getting the benefit out of it that they think they're going to get, and it's pointless basically to use. So it's not necessarily making you lose money, but there's no point in doing it anyway. It's snake oil for the most part. So Google wants to pick up some more data about your business so they can learn it better, and so the smart bidding that they have can work better. But for the most part, again, there's only weird individual circumstances where it helps. And even if 1 out of 100 people that do it helps Google's algorithm, of course they're going to ask you for that data. But it doesn't mean you're not wasting your time still, most likely. So I'll explain exactly what to do, how to do this better than using the seasonality adjustments to make adjustments in your business, and why the seasonality adjustments don't basically work. And you can spend your time and effort elsewhere to make more money with your Google Ads. So getting into the content, the theory behind Google's seasonality adjustments is that if you expect your conversion rate to change, either up or down, you could tell Google about this in advance of it happening so that your campaigns don't go off the rails, particularly when using smart bidding. So if you know your traffic that you're paying for from Google Ads is not going to convert at the same rate next week as it is this week, you could tell Google of that so that the algorithm it isn't like Wile E. Coyote where he runs off the side of the cliff and Google's going to try to get you sales the way that they always were, and you end up wasting money for about 3 days until the algorithm that Google has picks up on that and realizes you're not getting the same ROAS or ROI on your campaign, and then adjusts after 3 days. They've already lost a ton of money in those 3 days. That's the general premise of how it's supposed to work. The way that people are mostly using it, though, still, is, every year during Christmas time, for instance, traffic converts better because people have budgets already, for the Christmas shopping season. They know their sales converts. They get more sales during the, October, November, beginning of December every year, and then sales drop off precipitously after Christmas because everybody blew their loads already, so to say. And so then they'll go ahead and try to tell Google, hey, the conversion rate's not as good after Christmas. That's how most people think that it works and are using it, when in reality, that specific application of the seasonality adjustments doesn't really do anything. You should absolutely adjust your strategy after Christmas. That's, like I said, that absolutely should be what you're doing, but not using the seasonality adjustments to take care of that issue yourself. And in short, by the way, if you're an e-commerce business, your sales peak right before Christmas. You using auto bidding, smart bidding. Once you hit about December 20th, you reduce your budget. If you reduce your budget with auto bidding, the system, because naturally the traffic, the amount of people searching or the amount of people willing to click on your ads goes down, the algorithm's not going to struggle to find you customers and then to be able to spend your budget. And then it could just cherry pick the best customers. That's mainly how you deal with it in those situations, if you will. I also use target ROAS bidding, the actual target ROAS setting, as kind of a lever, if you will, to kind of prelude it. So if I know after December 20th, the sales are going to drop off, I'm going to lower the budget right away after that time, and I'm going to up the target ROAS at that exact time, so that the algorithm that Google has is going to more aggressively ratchet down the ad spend and the aggressiveness of how they're running our ads quicker than if we would have left the target ROAS setting as is and just lowered the budget. That's normally how I'm going to deal with seasonal changes every year. Most business has seasonal changes. I have the peak season and the low season. And so it might be for business to business going into the summer. We're making those adjustments like that. And then during the fall and spring, we're going the other way. For e-commerce, it's near Christmas. For home services, it's the springtime, that's the hot season. Versus, during Christmas time, it's the low season. And thereof, you learn what works and what doesn't work in your business. And then you just map it out every year. What I do in advance is I put a budget in by month and expected return by month. And then as I hit those months, I make sure to have a different budget based upon how well traffic converts that time of the year, so that we get the most out of every month in terms of what it's capable of doing for the business, not using seasonality adjustments feature that Google has. So anyway, with that said, going back into seasonality adjustments specifically though, the reason why seasonality adjustments feature on Google Ads is rarely useful for this kind of thing is because the algorithm just readjusts itself over a longer period of times, particularly multi-year. So because after a week of poor conversion rates, the algorithm's already going to recognize that your conversion rates aren't as good. So the algorithm's already going to adjust. So if you say, normally after December 20th, my sales conversion rate goes down, ultimately Google would have figured that out by December 27th anyway, so why did you even do it? And with that, to go a bit further, there's no one particular day for you e-commerce folks where the sales conversion rate goes down abruptly. Around December 15th, sales start going down, but they don't go down all at once. December 15th might be your peak day of your highest day in which you have the highest conversion rates on your traffic. Then December 16th might be 1% lower than the 15th. And then the 17th might be 1% lower yet. And then every day that goes forward, your conversion rates go down 1 to 2 or 3% every day. So the algorithm's going to pick up on this over time. And furthermore, by the way, after you've already run your ads for a year already, the algorithm already, as I've noticed, looks into the previous year's results for what these seasonality adjustments that need to happen anyway. So after Christmas, it already kind of knows what to expect in January versus December. That's a part of their algorithm. Google's not that retarded to not work that as a part of their algorithm as well. Even though they'll gladly take your secondary data that you plug in through the seasonality adjustments, like I said. But where this is useful, hypothetically anyway, is over short periods of time that it can help. But rarely does your conversion rates go up or down in a 1 or 2 day period like that. So if you were expecting, in other words, your sales on December 15th to be 3%, and then December 16th it would be a 1.5%. Yeah, that's the time when you could use seasonality adjustments, and it would help the algorithm, respectively. Before you have multiple years of data built up in your account, and the algorithm's already going to account for that because they've seen it as a trend in the multiple years that you've run your advertising already. So very rare instances does that actually happen. I work with dozens of clients at any given time, and I've seen hundreds and hundreds of different markets, campaigns, and operating in hundreds of markets, and I can't really think of more than about 2 or 3 instances where this actually happens, where this day it's this conversion rate, the next day it's half, or it's literally there's a drop off, precipitous drop off just like that. And except for, by the way, on holidays, because there's a lot of businesses, particularly like in service businesses, whether professional services or home services or whatever, where like during 4th of July, as well as e-commerce, we'll say too, during 4th of July, your sales conversion rate goes down. That's naturally going to happen, right? So, but the thing is, in those circumstances, the holidays specifically, the reason why I wanted to title this video as stupid. It's not clickbait. People get fooled into thinking, well, oh, during 4th of July, the conversion rate sucks, so I'm not going to advertise then. But you're losing out, because in most markets, there's only so many people searching on an ongoing basis. There's only so many people in market for what you have on an ongoing basis. Your job as an advertiser and person that does what you do in business is to get as much of the people that are in market for your product or service as you can, and capitalize off of those as much as you can. As soon as you start saying, well, my conversion rate's not as good as it normally is on this day, and then you start cutting your budgets on those days, you're cutting into your overall pie that you can get, that's possible to get for your business. And furthermore, to expand on this, my main point is here, the people that are searching on July 4th for jock itch cream, they're not searching for jock itch cream for entertainment here. They're not 12-year-old kids having a joke to laugh at this product. They're searching for it because they have a jock itch problem, just like they were doing on July 1st. These people that are searching, even though they don't buy on July 4th because they're searching for jock itch cream at their family picnic where they have their phone and it's highly annoying to punch the credit card information in on their phone, are doing the research planning to buy it later. They have time on July 4th to do the research. They're not working, but they're not intending to buy right then because it's not convenient to make the purchase. There's a lot of you guys got to get through your heads. There's certain times when people do their research, and there's times when people buy. And so many people want to say, if they don't click and buy right away, fuck them. They're not worth it. And that's really loser's mentality. You're not going to make nearly as much money in your market that way. There's a process. 80% of the people who click on your ad the first time aren't going to buy right away for the most part, unless you're selling a $20 broom where you don't have to think about it. It's either you impulse buy it or you don't. The higher the price of product you sell or service you sell, the more longer time they're going to think about it, and the more often it's going to take more than one visit. And so you got to advertise to people that many times, most times, aren't going to convert until later. And then later on, 2 weeks later when they get paid or whatnot, they're going to come back, type in your product's name or your company name, and then that's the time they're going to buy. They buy it on their schedule, not your schedule. So if you don't advertise, tying this all together here, if you don't advertise on July 4th, you're missing a part of the market you could have got if you advertised on July 4th. At the normal rate you would normally advertise, not at a way, way, way reduced rate, because only a small fraction of the people on July 4th that are searching are ready to buy on July 4th. So the winners are going to advertise all year round, even on holidays, because the people searching on those holidays are going to come back around 2 to 3 days after the holiday to make their purchase. And the overall sales and profit you make in your company will be much greater because you advertise through the holidays. You weren't so obtuse to think, well, they don't buy on July 4th, so fuck them. And so that's, information that you should know. So so the other reason why people use seasonality adjustments or that particular feature on Google is because during holidays things convert less. You don't want to tell the algorithm to advertise less itself. The algorithm already knows that people come back and buy. So you're like defying what the algorithm wants to do, even though the algorithm would pretty much just override you anyway. But the algorithm already knows that the person's coming back. You don't, and you think you're being clever by telling the algorithm that Google has that, they don't buy very much on July 4th, so don't do that, or don't go after them so aggressively on July 4th. So anyway, with all that said, the main reasons being people use the seasonality adjustments are for false reasons that don't help you and are not to your benefit. At the very least, aren't going to do anything for you. At worst, it's going to make you lose money, i.e. you stop advertising on the holidays or try to dissuade the algorithm to advertise your ads, push your ads on the holidays. Where it can actually help you make more money potentially is where, again, you're in a business where July 1st, your sales are this. July 2nd, your sales are 50% less. July 3rd, your sales are 50% less. July 4th, your sales are 50% off, 50% less. There's an immediate drop off. It's clear cut, and it happens over a 1 to 2 day period. One instance where I can think of where this is the case, if you were a florist, all your sales in that business are pretty much, more than half of your sales are during Valentine's Day in that business. And of course also Mother's Day. Well, on Valentine's Day specifically, there's going to be a fucking massive assload of orders on February 12th, 13th. But on February 14th, there's going to be basically zero. Because, with the 1 to 2 day delivery time, it's going to be too late. So, again, you could advertise and teach the algorithm that after 1 or 2 years, it would figure it out on its own. But before you have to pay to have the algorithm learn, you could tell the algorithm up front, hey, on February 14th, the conversion rate is going to be like 20% of the conversion rate it is on February 13th. And save yourself some money before the algorithm has to find out the hard way per se. Because again, after a week, it would adjust itself. But in that week that it is going to figure out that the sales aren't what it was February 12th and 13th, you could actually save get the algorithm to slow down before they would figure it out on their own. Figure it out on their own. So, but again, there's very few instances like that Valentine's Day for a florist where one day it's great, the next day it's dog shit. So if you had a situation like this, other than the holidays where the people are searching, they're just not buying that day, you could use the seasonality adjustments. But that's basically the only time where it comes in. It's actually physically going to make you more profit in your business. So, and like I said in the beginning, if you do have seasonal adjustments, like literal, actual ones where, the summer's higher, the winter's lower, you make the adjustments on the budget level and using the target ROAS or target CPA level, going up and down on those. That's a better way of doing it. It'll get you more results than the seasonality adjustment itself. Personally, as I've seen, and literally directly as a result of it as well, because even if you do the seasonal adjustments, you won't get as much of a back off or raise in the aggressiveness of your ads as if you adjust the target ROAS and the budget up and down at the same time. So it actually gets you more reaction out of your ads than just the seasonal adjustments itself. It's not like a switch like you would think it would in terms of getting your ads to run a lot less aggressively or a lot more aggressively. So, and with that, tying all this together, if you were in a situation like the florist during Valentine's Day, at the end of the day, you wouldn't use a seasonal adjustment anyway, because on July 14th, you more than likely would just be smart enough to already know, on July 14th, I'm taking my budget and putting it down to 20% of what it was the week before. And then that will slow your ads down anyway without having to do the seasonality adjustment. So there's really, if you look at it that way, there really isn't any situation where the seasonality adjustments are going to help you, or where that would actually be something that's going to legitimately be better than other solutions at the very least that you could do, i.e. lowering budgets, raising budgets, and toying with your target ROAS or target CPA settings inside your account. And with that, that's pretty much it. As we get into, just to sum this up as well, as an additional tip, if we're going into the busy season, what we'll usually do, not to screw things up in terms of our sales, if you know that during the summer your conversion rates are usually like double, I'll go in starting, once summer hits, and I'll go up in terms of, I'll lower the target ROAS setting by 10% and I'll increase the budget by 10%. And then the next week I'll do that again, the next week I'll do that again. That'll create the least amount of volatility in my results, because every change you make in Google Ads is going to affect your results negatively, even if it's a change that's positive for your account, because the algorithm doesn't like change. And so that's why every change you got to think through heavily. And when you make a change, don't be so emotional that if your results don't do what you wanted to do, you're going to make another change and another change, because you're going to unravel your entire account at that point. And I see people do that all the time. So you could do it in stages. If you know that you have to go ahead and get, make the ads run half the rate that they were, or double the rate, you do it in a few different changes, like 1 week apart. You'll have the best results that way in getting your sales to go up in a predictable way with the least amount of volatility that it'll eat into your results using that method. And again, it's more effective than seasonality adjustments anyway in that particular case. It might be confusing as to why if your ads are going to convert less, why you would want to take the target ROAS setting and just mark that up, given your ROI target hasn't changed. But you'll see if you raise the target ROAS setting, it'll cut down the amount of ad spend that you have pretty much just directly. It'll be like that, doing that. So, and then particularly when you do that in conjunction with a adjustment in your budget, it's really, really perfect in terms of getting your budget down, and then to get the system not only to spend less, but start going after the stuff that normally converts at a higher rate. So basically what it's doing, it's cutting off the parts of the traffic that converted the less or converted the least in the past. And then when you do that in several stages, it's like you're cutting off, the worst 10%, or sorry, the worst 20% of your account. Then you do it 1 week later, it cuts off the next second 20% worst part of your account, and then you keep doing that in stages until you get down to the level that you need. Or if you're going up, it'll start going after and expanding what your account will do to the next 20% of stuff that's most likely to work, and given you're in the busy season, it will work. You see how that works? So anyway, with that said, I'll wrap it up with that. If you have any questions about anything I covered here today, leave me a comment below. I get back to every single person that leaves me a comment on this channel, usually within a couple days' time. Ask me any PPC related question you'd like, or ad related question. I love to be able to help answer people's questions on the comment section. And so, fire away if you want some help on what you're doing. Even if it's not related to the topic of the video, I'd be happy to help. If you did like the video, I would appreciate, though, a like on the video, and you should consider subscribing, as I have tons of content that I'm sharing on this channel about strategies I find that are working or not working, like in the case that I share on this video, from my personal experience working on dozens of ad accounts on an ongoing basis for the clients that I serve at my agency, Guarantee PPC. And so whereas most YouTubers don't work on client accounts like I do, I have the experience directly of working 40 hours a week on just strategy, not just the entire aspects of what it takes to manage the account, but just the strategy, to give you the information I'm giving you on this channel. That's why it's so good, and will make you millions of dollars if you were to use these strategies, because most of them aren't used by your competitors. So if you want the real information that will work, coming straight from the source, you should subscribe to this channel. You can also find my work at guaranteeppc.com/blog, where I have my personal writing there, where I show strategies that work as well as on my column at entrepreneur.com. I have a bunch of strategies. I go over the latest and greatest strategies there if you prefer to see my writing in writing. With that said, if you need somebody that's not just good but fantastic to help you manage getting results in your account, you don't want to do it, or you just want to get better results you can get on your own, I'd love to see what you're working on. Reach out to my agency at guaranteeppc.com. I'll look at your stuff. I'll see if we can work together, and I'll get you an estimate of how much sales results you can get on your account. If there's a fit, and you've got a great product or service that looks like it can do extremely well with the right advertising added to it, and the strategies that I talk about on this channel, I'll go ahead and work with you and not take a fee until we get you more sales results on your account in excess of what we're charging here at our agency. That's exactly what we offer. There's no catch there. Nobody else is doing that in our entire PPC ad management space, which should tell you something about the quality of services and how we can get results here. So we don't work with just anybody as a result of us having to guarantee results, but at least you'll know what's possible with your campaign if you reach out, and that part's free. So looking forward to hear from you. If you are, though, looking just for the results, not to have an ad manager working on your stuff full time, which I understand, we also have campaign templates that, if we worked in your market already, you'd be it'd be much smarter for you to reach out to us and use the templates we know that work in your market already, because we've had a client that's hired us in your market space already, in which we got the results. With that, we give you the ads, the campaigns, the landing page templates, everything that works in your market, and tell you what results you can get with your market up front before you use them, and literally copy and paste results into your account. So without having to do all the hard work, you can get the results we did, having to build an account up for years in your market. So we obviously don't work in all markets, but I've worked in close to 100 different markets. So if you want to reach out to me and find out if we worked in your market, it's worth a shot figuring that out. And then obviously you'd be doing yourself a big favor using our campaign templates that we already know work in your market, because we've already did all the hard work to get results in your market. So reach out to me also if you're interested in that. I'll wrap it up with that. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you on my next video where we have another great strategy for you then. See you later.